Actually, weird. I guess I'm not feeling super unmotivated to train. I just waited a while, and I think part of that was because I just kind of took a nap, and it wasn't really like a true nap. I just kind of laid down for a bit, and when I take naps after school, after work, my naps are not full naps a lot of times because I don't like to fall fully asleep, because then I'll fall asleep for 2 3 hours, and then be in that groggy state that I'm sure anyone can relate to that's taking a nap after a normal day. But I like to just play a YouTube video, even if it's one that maybe it's one that it's not that important to listen to the whole thing, but it's something that's like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then just kind of wake up a little bit and then play another one. What's up, Reed? I, I'm justifying my laziness of coming out late by saying I took a nap, which I did, which is true. Maybe I could say I helped move boxes at school today, so I could say that maybe I was being lazy, but it's actually really warm out, which is really interesting. I put my hat on, but it's like still 70 degrees, so it's not even bad out. But we're gonna rock the Browns until they continue to suck. But more of the boring shed stuff. So I did I don't know if you saw the squat I did yesterday, but the 200 for 7. I think that's the most. It's definitely the most I've done with 200. I don't know what my best 7 rep max is because it's you don't keep track of that. I want to do it for 8 really bad, but on that last one, it was extremely difficult, so I just about died. Um, I like well, it's a oxymoron because I like know on a day like this where it's like the training isn't as critical or like it's quicker. I'm like I can just wait when really I should just come and get it done and then just be able to just relax. But thankfully, I didn't take a lot of caffeine. That's the other thing I alternate a little bit. I did the last couple times. I had sessions like this, but like today, I just had a little tiny cup of coffee that I had left over from this morning. So not too much caffeine additional. So that's another thing I try to do less of on these days is just get the pressing in, and then see if I want to front squat. But I'm gonna do snatch pulls. Um, well, the pressing. I'm gonna do snatch grip press. I'm gonna try 65 for 3x3. I don't know if that will work, but we're gonna see if it works. I need a scientific method. And honestly, I might just go crazy and just go to 70 and see what happens with that. I've been enjoying pressing, which is interesting. I guess because it's standing, it's not bench pressing. But it's been nice to kind of like have like important stuff to do, but it's not like important enough where I'm like stressing out about doing it. It's just pressing. But yeah, yesterday before I did that 200 set, I snatched 115 a couple times and then tried 160 twice in the clean and jerk. So certainly wasn't even fresh going into that, which is interesting because all of the like rep stuff I've been doing has been after like hard weightlifting training, which I don't know why it's gone well. Usually that hasn't been the case, but I think with repetition type work like I've been doing, there's more margin of error. Like I was hoping for 8 and I did 7, and obviously that's most of the way there, and that's still a ton of volume, and so it's like an interesting thing when you're doing reps. Like I was completely the 200. I guess it was more nerves than anything before I did it, because I think the most I might have done it for 5 before, but I haven't done it for 5 in a very long time. Definitely done it for 3 a couple different times, but anything more than 3 I don't remember doing. So like that was probably more like a 5 rep max, and our 7 rep max. I don't know what my 6 or 7 rep max is, but going into that, because I just went 70, 120, 170 right to 200. I was 100% prepared to go and do 1 rep. I was like, I'm gonna get between 1 and maybe 5. I didn't really think I was gonna get more than 5. I was trying to be pretty realistic. I didn't want to say like I'm gonna do 8 and then feel like I was successful, did 7. I was like, I might just only do 1. I might do 2, and then it like slows down. But once I was bouncing through the first couple reps, I was like, I have a shot. I was like, I have at least 5. And then once I did the 6th one, I was like, that was that was quite heavy. But it's weird. But Yeah, it's probably just a smart read to stop training if you do feel like a little twinge like that. Um, it's just, I mean, you've been going a little bit heavier, so you've been doing a little bit more. So it kind of makes sense that, something might break down or like there could be a little bit twinge. And it's good to kind of dial it back and focus on what doesn't hurt. And that's been nice on these days where it's like at first it was really light and it was kind of uncomfortable to even do the snatch presses. And now it doesn't really bother me at all. So it's already like progressing in that regard. And obviously, I'm able to add weight, which is always nice to be able to do. But I honestly don't need this hat. It's actually kind of warm out with my bald head. But I'm probably just gonna start at 50, and I'm gonna try 70. So I don't know how that will feel with the snatch grip pressing, but I'm just kind of motivated to press well. I don't know how well I'll front squat though, because I'm not gonna go get my belt. I'm not gonna go crazy hard with that since, and that's been the other funny thing doing all these back squat workouts is like on the other days I'm doing front squat singles. So it's I don't know why the back squats continue to go well. I'm trying to question it and just continuing to do, you know, trust that I can linearly progress it for longer. But the next time I do back squat, so tomorrow, it's gonna be 5 by 6, and I'm dropping back down to 140. And so I'm gonna do 140, 160 or 165, and then 180, 185 for like the last top set, I guess, of 5 by 6 or 4 by 6. I haven't decided that if I'm going to drop the reps a little bit too. But once I get up to that 185 for the volume set, then the next one, I might try like 210 for 210 or 215 for 6. And it might be a similar thing. I might do it for 5 or for 4, but like that would be success in that regard. Doing it for 3. Because I feel like my best double is 220. And so, like, I don't know what my best triple is. So it's just, if for nothing else, it's giving me benchmarks that the next time I go through a similar training cycle, that I can see what different repetition maxes I hit. So it's like, I guess it's setting PRs in that sense, but I know like doing 200 for 7 in at any point of my training, at any point in my life is fantastic. So I know like it's building tremendously, a lot faster and a lot better than I thought. I honestly like, was thinking like I was like this 200 might be the point where I just hit the wall and I do a single and I'm like I've overextended, but for some reason, and I've experienced this a couple different times when I do these like reps and reps and reps and reps, I respond really for squats. I respond really well to them, and I think it's just the way that I'm built. That my whole body gets stronger from squatting, and like my deadlift and everything will get stronger from squatting. I don't respond that well to deadlift volume, which makes sense because I don't really do it that much, nor do I really need it. But like the squats just build everything for legs and pulling wise. But yeah, and I'm trying not to question it. You know the weirdest thing, Reed, we are doing that set of 7 yesterday. Back, good. Legs, fresh. Calves, my calves are tight. I don't know why my calves are tight. Both of my left calf, I was like feeling like, why is it sore? And my right calf, I'm like, it's sore too. So I don't know. I was helping at school today move these big tables, and I was helping carry it, but like they weren't heavy in the sense that like I'm like straining. I was just walking it upstairs. I'm like, maybe that, but like I wasn't like it wasn't like the squat. Like I wasn't like actually like working hard at it. Um, but I'm like, I don't know why the calves would be tight from squats. So that's it's a weird feeling. I did have one. I think it was this year. It was way in the spring, where I strained my calf on a back squat on a double, and it hurt. So it was like a cramp, but I actually realized after it was a strain. It was such a weird feeling, but it was my left calf. So maybe I got weak calves. My giant calves are weak, but yeah, that's it's weird because like you would think a 7 and like the way I'm built for squats, like it would tear me up, but sometimes I respond and I recover super fast from it. And then like when I did that 185 for 10 the other week, I was my whole body was sore from that. So I honestly don't know. And I trained harder before doing that 200 for 7 than I did on the day where I did the 185 for 10. So I honestly don't know what's going on with squats and why it's going well. I'm just trying to push it up. I think at the end of this like big block of training that I'm doing, I think it would be really cool to do a 230 squat for 2. I don't know if that's where the back squat progress will end, but my best double I know is 220. I believe I've tried to double 225 before, but I feel like the trajectory that I'm on right now, that by the time I get down to doubles or triples or whatever, that getting to that 230 mark and doing that for a double, that would be really good and a really good indicator that things are start like I'm going to start to be able to maybe try like a 240 back squat. Because my best is I don't know what it is in kilos actually. So one of the weird PRs always forget in kilos, but it's 520 pounds. It's like 234 or something. But it's been a one that I haven't really tried to like necessarily hit a PR from it. Um, I wouldn't necessarily do a call it. Like I'm not trying to push the PR for it necessarily, but I kind of figured if I'm trying to get my shoulder to feel at 100%, it's not going to be bad for feeling with that. But time to warm up. So enough yapping. My calves are actually sore. It's actually kind of weird. it's actually it's actually kind of bizarre. Legs legs are like normal sore, but like my calves are actually tight. It's bizarre. Maybe I leaned too far forward on the squats, but that didn't really seem to be the case as far as being on my toes. Oh, I mean, hopefully I can just literally progress my strength forever and squat 500 kilos at some point. I think that's the goal. But yeah, and it could, and it's one of those tricky things. When I remember I was trying to do like SOTS presses a lot, and I thought that was kind of stretch out my shoulder. Didn't make anything worse, but it certainly was pushing my shoulder in a position that was uncomfortable, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I would just start with regular shoulder presses and until and see how it checks out. Could just be a little twinge. Your whole shoulder could have exploded, but chances are, if you are contemplating doing normal training the next day, it means that you probably don't have like a tremendous amount of pain. And that's kind of usually how I assess if I'm actually injured or not. Is if I'm just doing life and I actually notice whatever ailment that I have, even if I have like my calves, really sore, but I wasn't like necessarily like I can't step too fast, or if like I move in the wrong way, I'm gonna like feel it, and where I can't like move in a certain way. It's just muscle soreness. So probably is not a big deal unless you're like I can't do anything with it. But um, yeah, it's a tricky one. But we're gonna try jumping right to 50 and doing a press. And get up to 70, that part of it that'll be difficult is the actual muscle snatch part, which is interesting. No, no, we might only do 70 for one. We'll see though. I'm kind of curious if I can do it. All right. Another thing I think I'm gonna adjust on these days is instead of just doing a heavy single, um, appreciate it, kind of beer, or carnivore. But another thing I'm adjusting these is maybe just do doubles in the front squat instead of just singles. But kind of have to see, because that's going to be, twice as much volume as I'm normally doing on these days. But it'll have to be lighter with that. So we're gonna try 70 here and see what happens, because I haven't done it in a hot minute. I don't know if I'll be able to do it in general or more than one. So we'll see. Ooh. Ooh. That was really difficult. Not doing more sets. I'm just gonna do one set there. Wow, that was, whole thing was difficult actually. So honestly, not the worst thing in the world. But 70 for 3, not bad. And what I was thinking of doing as well is, so I've done whatchamacallit, like I've moved up the snatch and play and jerk, throughout this progression, and it's felt good. So I think I'm going to reset those as I continue to build the squat and continue to try to build all that. So I think what will be good to do today for the overhead press is to be aggressive like I was with the snatch grip press and kind of set, a benchmark of what strength I'm at, then kind of build back from a basis. So doing like, 40, 45 kilos or whatever at the point or at the start, and just kind of dial the weightlifting stuff back and kind of cycle that, kind of how I've been doing the squats, to where it goes back to the lighter weights, because the weightlifting stuff has just kind of gone up. It hasn't really gone back to being lighter, which is interesting because my squats have continued to go well, even though the intensity of the weightlifting and the volume, frankly, has gone up slightly. So it's an interesting response that I'm having with that. But for overhead press, so I just did that 70 for 3. Definitely difficult. It's hard to tell if I'm be able to do more, but not really too worried if I could actually do more. But we're going to try to do something for 6. So we're going to see how that works. But all right. So I almost knocked you guys down. Whoopsie. I don't even know what this is. All right. What did I even do? I hit a button. Hitting buttons. Okay, I don't even know what I hit. I hit something that like added a filter, and then I knocked my phone over. I don't even know, but we're gonna try to do, so we're gonna drop back down to 50, do a strict press there, and then might just go to 70 again. I'm just adjusting my notes. I think that's a good benchmark, because like that squat definitely needs to start getting really hard after doing the 200 as I start to get above that. If I'm gonna be able to do something like 210 for even 3, that's gonna be a lot. So it's probably a good time to kind of reset the weightlifting stuff. So it's just I don't even know what you mean by that, but so then it will give me a chance to recover a bit better for the volume. Not too bad. A little crackly, but when aren't we crackly? So we're gonna jump to 70 and just do that for a single, and then maybe try 85. I don't know. I kind of want to do 90. Mims, all you do is just look at what you do for training and then progress it. It's just math. It's not. You don't need an app to do math. You don't need an app to assess how well you respond to your training, as long as you're paying attention to how you respond to training. And the math isn't even complicated. You're just trying to increase the weight that you're able to do while maintaining similar amounts of volume. So if I do 3 sets of 10, I'm going to go to 4 sets of 8 because it's going to be the same. Yeah, I use pen and paper. Like I put stuff into like a Google Sheet to visually see it all at once. What I actually do now, talking about really old school. So I have a giant dry erase board that I put. I have a to-do list. I track actually cardio of all random things, but my uh, rower machine, I increase the amount of calories I do. I haven't done it in a little bit just because of all these volume and squats. I just haven't felt like doing any extra cardio, but I still have that progression on there. And then I have like a visual thing where I can put my plan for the week of training, and it changes a little bit, but I've actually been kind of following it pretty closely, and just so I can see like where things are gonna end on a certain day, if I'm gonna have like a heavy day or a back squat day at a certain day, and kind of plan when I'm going to the gym and not, and just visually see the whole week at once. And on the far right, I have all my grad work is, so it's a pretty big dry erase board, and I was very happy with the purchase. That was, I think, the first thing I bought when my roommates moved out. I was like, I'm getting a dry erase board. I'm putting it there, and I'm having my life organized even more so. And I've always liked writing stuff down, and that's like for me, the act of like writing into a notebook is for like training purposes is fantastic. And I can't just type it in my phone or whatever. That's obviously very cumbersome to do when you're at the gym, and when you're physically writing things down, there's just something different about it. It's hard to exactly explain, but I definitely think it is a mechanistic change in your brain versus when you're typing things on your phone. Plus, I find it easier because I'm 180 years old. I'm older. I'm older than Google. Pretty easy. Although muscle cleans are pretty not easy. Back in my day, we didn't have smartphones. Man, I didn't get a cell phone until I was in middle school. I'm ancient. I didn't have a smartphone until high school. And part of that, my parents probably could have got us that when we're, but like the thing when I was younger, back in my day, when you got phones like data and stuff, you actually it wasn't there wasn't really unlimited plans, so those didn't really come about until even really college, and a lot of people got around that because you just use Wi-Fi for everything. But yeah, when they came out, there you were kind of dependent on Wi-Fi. You couldn't just use all the data you wanted like I can now, and I'm on Wi-Fi or data right now, so definitely times have changed in that regard. But um, yeah, I didn't have first cell phone, flip phone I had was seventh grade. I remember, which is interesting because my sister was older and that was her first phone, and my brother was younger and that was his first phone. So we all got phones at the same time. But it was yeah, asking for Wi-Fi, and there not being Wi-Fi at school. That's the thing is like when I was like we had internet, but it wasn't. I don't remember there being Wi-Fi in like middle school, so there wasn't like access to that. So like you were in a bunker. Like now, like the school I teach at has Wi-Fi, and I don't necessarily even need to use it because I have unlimited data, so there's not really a reason. But like you can connect to the internet or to the Wi-Fi, and it's just hilarious to think like at some point there just wasn't internet in schools, and everyone still functioned frantically asking where it was. Uh, well, like when we were kids, we didn't go to people's houses and ask them for the Wi-Fi password because you didn't that wasn't a thing. Nobody had smartphones really. I don't ever remember asking when I was like elementary or middle school for a Wi-Fi, even when eventually had a smartphone. I guess more so once I had a smartphone in high school, but I guess I just didn't go places, so you don't have to worry about asking for Wi-Fi passwords. And you don't go anywhere. Internet has gotten so much faster though since even when I was in college, and that could just be an access point thing. But coming down here, whether I've had Spectrum or Cincinnati Bell, the kind of the two, or no, they call it Alta Fiber now. The two services down here. Back in my day, it was Time Warner Cable. That's how. Good old Time Warner. But yeah, the whatchamacallit. So down here, it's like the internet's. I don't know if it's just being down in like a more like a larger city, and being around like just more infrastructure, but I've noticed whether I've had Spectrum or Alta Fiber, which has I forget those like special cords are, but the cords they put in the ground. I think they both use the same ones now because the internet hasn't changed. I just go with whoever's cheaper because the internet speed is the same with them both. But it wasn't even like that when I first came down here. Spectrum was a lot slower, especially when you had multiple people using it on fiber. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they use fiber, both of them, because it doesn't, like my internet hasn't slowed down. I had Alta Fiber and then I switched to Spectrum because it was cheaper. And even what was funny is I switched and I told Alta Fiber this because I didn't want to go through the process. It's not a difficult process, but like it's more things I have to think about. I told them like my internet has gone up in price. If you increase my speed to what Spectrum has and it's close, it was still a little bit more cost, but like if you just give me whatever speed Spectrum has, which is like the fastest speed that Spectrum had and their whatever price, like I'll just stay. I'll pay an extra $10 a month. It's not that big of a deal. And they wanted to give me slower speed for more money. And I sent them. It wasn't like trying to like make up to like get. I'm like I'm showing you the deal that Spectrum has, and it's there. And so if the deal goes away, I just switch back to Ulta Fiber. So I've I've had both a couple like three different times because they just run out of the promotional rate, and I'm just like, can you just make this permanent because I just don't want to switch, and they're say no, and then I just switch, and it's like the infrastructure's there. I just have to just call the companies and switch. So it's just kind of goofy with that, and I wish I wish they would just lock in a price and I could just keep it there. But like at least get it the same as the other company so I don't have to like guys like I'm not gonna just stand here and get slower internet for more money. At least make it the same speed and then I'll pay some more because it's quality. But um, what is? Oh, I got a phone call from a blocked number. Getting all the political calls. All the political calls. I love it. I love getting 40,000 spam texts today. That's one thing that makes me want to throw my phone across the room. Do you know where to vote? Make sure you vote for this person. Send us money. Alright. I'm going to do a regular power clean because the muscle clean at 90 might not happen because it's hard. Although I haven't been hook gripping, so I don't know if that makes a difference with the muscle cleans, but I also don't really want to do it. So I'm going to see how many reps I can do with 90. I'm hoping more than 3, but it might just be 1. So I haven't done 90 in a little bit. But I've been doing lots of pressing, so we'll see how it works. So maybe 5. That would be really good. And I think that would be a PR. Nope. that's how the shoulder press goes. Yeah, once I did that first rep, I was like, yeah, that's how I thought 200 was gonna go yesterday. I was gonna be like, all right, we get hyped up and then do one and be like, yep, no. 90's still not that bad though. I'm too hard on myself. Like if I think doing 80 definitely would have been the conservative choice. 85, I think I could have done a little bit more. Obviously more than one rep, but I'm fine with 90. I haven't been practicing heavy singles, which for over a press is a big thing. Yeah, 90's not bad, but um, just gives me a point to look towards for the next time if I'm pushing these sessions to maybe try reps with it. But it's not the super focus right now. But it's nice to know that 90, it was relatively easy. Like I could have done a little bit more weight, but not too much more. Oh, and I kind of think. That I don't want to do squats or pulls today because I kind of want to deload. I don't want to not lift anymore. So I'm actually gonna. I kind of contemplated that too. That was one thing that kind of made me wait a little bit. Was the decision to either wait to train or to come out earlier. Was like I don't know if I even want a front squat. If I just want to come out and press. And it's kind of the nice thing with a day like this is it's not critical if I do more squats and pulls and whatnot. I do Olympic weightlifting, so neither one of those. But, yeah, so tomorrow, I think tomorrow kind of sets me up. I don't know what I'll be able to do snatch and clean jerk, but I think if I do front squats or pulls today, I'm just going to not be, like I'll just have pushed too far. I think my calves is such a weird thing that it's kind of an indicator that I'm probably just generally fatigued, which logically makes sense. I snatched 115 3 times yesterday, clean, did a 150 clean jerk and then tried 160 twice. So I mean, I cleaned it twice, missed the jerk twice, and then the squat. So I did a lot of work yesterday, which makes sense why I'd be generally sore. So I think it's better to not try to do a front squat just because I said that I want to do one. Then it saves the pulls for the next time I have a session like this to where I can do the snatch pulls at 140. So I'm not worried about pushing that up. And then I can reset with the snatch grip pressing and the overhead pressing and go back down to the basics. But only 600. I could do 600 grams, not 600 pounds or kilograms. I don't know. Somebody tell me what 90 kilograms is in grams. It's like what, 9,000 grams? 90,000? How does that work? How does that work? Because kilo is 1,000, right? So I would just add 3 zeros to it, so it'd be 90,000 grams. So that's what I pressed. Unless my order of operations or scientific understanding is not correct. And tomorrow's Wednesday, or Thursday actually. Tomorrow's actually Thursday. Today's Wednesday. Thank goodness. My whole day's. The timing is slightly off this week as far as what days I'm training. I think mostly because I don't have any more conferences, and those are keeping me regulated better. I'm lifting on the same day. But I think today having it be a lighter day in general is probably for the best because I haven't. That's probably one thing that has been helping is with those conferences days where I wasn't training. It forced me to take a day off, and having a day of training like this where I obviously still lifted a little bit, but it's not really like I didn't squat or pull, so it's not really going to be that systematically strenuous. So it's essentially a day off in that regard, but not too worried about forcing myself to squat every day or anything crazy like that. So I think I'm going to plan on the 5x6 or the 4x6 tomorrow. So we'll have to see what I want to do as far as squatting goes, but I know it will be at 140, whatever it is. What I'll probably do is plan on doing a 5x6 at 140 because it'll probably be quite manageable. It's not a very heavy weight, and see how the sets are feeling. If I'm getting fatigued or if stuff is starting to like the lactate and all that's building up too fast or whatever, and then maybe just do 4, just because eventually the weights will get heavier. But I'm gonna also reset the weightlifting stuff from the 115 for 3 singles and just go all the way back down to 90 and do that for either one or a couple singles, maybe do doubles, kind of just reset those. But still, the focus right now is the squats and trying to get those to continue to go up. And honestly, I think it's a good focus for my training because it's weightlifting movements are moving better and my legs are getting stronger. And I haven't, like 200 is the heaviest I've squatted since I've started this progression. And a lot of my attempts are continuing to go up for the weightlifting stuff. So it's definitely responding well to that. So I just want to continue that momentum. And one of the ways to continue that momentum is to not just keep pushing yourself into the dirt because eventually your body will just kind of shut down for a day or two. And I've been in a good cycle of these days of training. So I kind of want to just continue to have those positive days and dropping down. Obviously, when I'm, increasing or changing the rep scheme a little bit has been working. So I kind of want to continue that progression with that. But I don't just want to keep linearly progressing the weightlifting because I'll just hit a wall eventually, like I have with the clean jerk, frankly, because I've missed 160 3 times the last 4 days or whatever. So I don't really want to keep trying that weight until I build some more leg strength and some not necessarily consistency, but just build a little bit more leg strength and kind of just get better peaked for it. Because honestly, if I can get to like doing 120 plus and 150 plus in consistent training sessions, then I know I'm in a good spot, especially if my squats are going up. So I just want to continue to focus on that because I think it's just helping everything. And I don't know, maybe tomorrow I'll feel really good and recovered, and I want to try to do a heavy deadlift or something too. We'll kind of see how that is going. I kind of want to, in the back of my mind, I want to do a 300 kilogram deadlift for a double at some point. I don't know when that will be, but I think I want to do that before attempting something more than 305. But I think I'm honestly not that far away from being able to attempt a new deadlift PR. Based on how that was at 290 or whatever that I did for a double the other week, with how easy that felt, I don't think I'm too far away from being able to. But deadlifts are finicky in that regard because you have to be prepared to do it a heavy attempt with it. It can't just be a random thing, especially at the level I'm at. I can't really just randomly do it and potentially at a PR. I'd have to get very lucky, and with weights like that, it's hard to be lucky because it just takes a lot of effort to get up to that weight and a lot of recovery time too. They definitely are brutal to do. Once I get above like 270, 280, and if I'm doing it for a double or something, it's definitely difficult to recover from. So I'd have to, be cognizant of that because it's not really a major focus of my training, but it's still something that'd be cool to do, like a 700-pound deadlift. That would be pretty dope. But not hell bent on getting to that end any point soon. But I'm gonna continue the good training. I think today was good that I came out and did some pressing, and then I can kind of just reevaluate things and just reset and continue the positive momentum because I want this competition I'll do probably at the end of May of 2025. I want to start hitting some really big numbers and I have been. My last couple comps have been well, but I want to snatch over 130. I want to try 135, and I'm definitely not there yet. I want to be able to do like a 127 opener. Like I want to get up to big numbers, but I got to build that consistency. I got to be confident with it. Right now, definitely don't think I'd be able to get up to 130, even if I was properly peaked for it. So got to get stronger. Got to get the shoulder 100% so it can lift at 100%. And maybe try like a 170 clean jerk. I think it'd be really cool if I got to honestly 130. I think that's a more realistic number. But if I did 130, 170 and did that 300 total, that's a lifetime goal right there to get up to that. And then super lifetime is to snatch 140 at some point, but that might never happen. But to do the 130, 170, I'm definitely on the path to get to that point, and getting to 300 for me, I think that's going to be either 135, 165, but I've done 166, so I think it's going to be more realistic to snatch 130 and then clean jerk 170. So we'll see how that works, but just got to continue getting stronger. Get the squat up, get the front squat up, all that good stuff. But that's going to be it for this one. I'm going to eat some food and relax. Enjoy my day off, I suppose, in a sense. But I'll talk to you all in the next one. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Peace.